Hello comrades, and welcome to the recap of the manhwa. I have 90 billion in my account. Enjoy the viewing. In the last episode, the main character returned to his hometown, met an old friend and a female friend who had become more beautiful, went into his father's house, and was completely stunned. Qin Jianmen had run off with Manman's mother, who was also Yuan's father's wife, and his own mother had gone to live with her grandmother. This happened because Yuan's dad was Mistin's first love. They had been in love since childhood, and everyone admired them as a couple. However, Mistin's family was dissatisfied with the potential groom's financial situation and therefore opposed their union. Thus, the girl was forced to marry Mr. Wang. But after Manman was born, everyone noticed that she looked nothing like her father, and over time, more and more doubts arose in his heart. In the end, Mr. Wang decided to take a paternity test, and the result was, to put it mildly, disappointing. And when he decided to find Yuan's dad, it turned out that he had run away with his wife. Oh, hell, and they call the main character a womanizer. But what's more important? Is Manman his sister? Well, most likely, yes. Oh, so the system linked Yuan with his sister? Oh no, what has he done? He himself decided to hit on her later. No, incest is not a family affair. Oh god, Yuan is just disgusting, a dirty animal. But it's not like that. This is Jianmen's sin, Yuan shouldn't be held responsible for it. No, it's alright, Auntie Luo shouldn't worry about our hero, right? Well, as long as he doesn't do anything stupid. This child is incredibly smart, but he has an overly developed sense of morality. So Yuan will have a hard time in the future. No. He would have, but he has the system. And since Manman is the main character's biological sister, he must protect her. Zhen Biao won't lay a finger on her. Meanwhile, Manman was doing housework, thinking about Yuan at the same time. He studied for so long, but his moral principles leave much to be desired. Is it all because of his university studies? Education is really not worth it. So, where did everyone go? Did everyone die here or what? What a crappy life. Oh, is Dad back? Well, why did he get drunk again? But what the hell kind of dad? Who is Manman's father here, huh? She's not Mr. Wang's daughter. Don't, mister. Whoa, the man had better stop. And who said that, you bastard Chen? Did Uncle Wang mistake Yuan for his father? And he was so plastered that he grabbed a sickle and rushed at the main character. Now Chen is going to pay. First, Mr. Wang will kill him, and then that bitch. Oh no, first the main character will disarm the drunk, twist his arm, and say, Uncle Wang can scream and threaten all he wants, but he is not Qin Jianmen, he is Qin Yuan. But what's the difference? You bastard, he'd kill the man quickly. Otherwise, he'll slaughter Yuan's entire lousy family. If someone had allowed themselves to say such things to the main character, he would have killed them. But Yuan will let Uncle Wang go if he promises to calm down. Society is now governed by laws and rules, so let Manman run and get a rope. Quickly. And what are the neighbors staring at? Yuan is just showing Uncle Wang the basic elements of self-defense. Phew, so, has the man calmed down? Yes, Yuan is aware his father did wrong and hurt Uncle Wang. Therefore, on behalf of Uncle Jianmen, the young man apologizes. Yeah, sure, he tied Wang up and is asking for the impossible. He has been fooled for over 20 years, how can he just come to terms with it? But whatever it may be, there's no point in revenge anymore. Yuan is here only to find out how to assuage Uncle Wang's grief. Maybe he'll think about compensation? Sounds great. Let Yuan cut off his own junk. Uncle Wang doesn't want the bastard Qin Jianmen's line to continue. No, that's too much, and it won't change anything. How about financial compensation? But money? And what will Uncle Wang do with it? It won't bring his family and daughter back. Yuan is just a dense moron. Anyway, the man wants 100 million, how about that? Yeah, okay, no problem. If Uncle Wang gives up on revenge, the young man will pay. No, it can't be. He's no different from his scumbag father. Where would Yuan get that kind of money? 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 100 million. Was Young Chen not just bluffing? Oh, in that case, Mr. Wang can start a new life? Find a beautiful young wife who will bear him a child, and they will live comfortably. And fighting with Jianmin is indeed unwise. The man is still young, with many opportunities ahead of him. So, will Yuan really give him this money? Of course, but to Man's card. Although Uncle Wang is not her biological father, she will repay the man for raising her all these years. Yuan will transfer 10 million to his sister now, and the rest over 10 years. Why not the whole amount at once? It's just that the young man is afraid that Uncle Wang won't be able to keep his word and will start pursuing his father. Yuan hopes this amount will ease the man's pain. A moment later, the meaning of what was said suddenly hit Man. She's Uncle Chen's daughter? Yuan is her brother? How interesting. The girl feels like she's in a TV series. And who the hell knows where her brother got so much money, but he named such a sum without even blinking an eye. Wow. Man's disposition is different from other girls. She is stimulated by a sense of unity and trust. Well, let her receive 10 million on her card, and now, since the money has been transferred, the main character will untie Uncle Wang. But he'd better not be foolish. But not so fast. Man could spend the night at her brother's place, as she wouldn't want to stay here after what happened. Of course, they can go home right now. Meanwhile, the pink-haired woman managed to find information about Mr. Lone Wolf. His real name is Qin Yuan. He is 21 years old, born in Tianmeng. And judging by his biography, there's nothing outstanding about him, which is wildly strange. And then the girl had to dig deeper. That's when the pink-haired one found a medical report from 20 years ago about his mother. It states that she cannot have children, and therefore Yuan is not the child of Mother Zimei and her husband. Aha, so Secretary Li Jiamu only managed to find out this much? Well, basically, yes. And this is all she's capable of, useless trash. So much money, time, and effort were spent searching for info on this bastard. Mr. Li doesn't care that Yuan is adopted. Jiamu wants to know where he got his money. Who supports him and what his background is that clear? Yes, the pink-haired one understood everything and will correct her mistake at once. That's more like it. She must understand that she is a simple tool raised by Mr. Li's family. But she's not the only one. If she upsets Jiamu, she will lose her value. Well, go on, keep him updated. Towards the evening at the main character's house, Man went to take a shower, and Yuan kindly brought her his mother's clean clothes. He'll leave them by the door. Oh, thanks. It's a pity, though, that the girl is no longer needed by her parents, and her father isn't even her real one. Life is an unfair thing. But now the girl has a brother, but where did he get so much money? His family used to sell fruit, right? He's not involved in anything criminal. Anyway, Man is an adult now, and Qin Yuan treats her well. If he has gone down a slippery slope, then his sister is simply obligated to help him. Okay, Man is done, the bathroom is free. Alright, sister will sleep in this room, which was previously Young Chen's parents' bedroom, and he will probably return to his own. If she needs anything, she just has to say so. They'll solve the problem in a flash, but she's very scared to be alone. Can she spend the night with Yuan? Man will just lie on the floor, please. No problem. In any case, it's normal for brothers and sisters, probably. And the main character used to think that parents should solve their children's problems, not the other way around. An interesting situation, he has a sister, it's like a dream. Sometime later, the city of Tianmeng welcomed the Gaoxianing company. But damn, this place is a real hole. Although, moving further away from the city, on the whole, the place isn't even bad. Mountains and forests everywhere, workers and actresses are already developing this land. In short, it's not so bad. Suddenly, one of the film company's employees sneakily wrote a text message to his client. The management has already chosen a suitable plot of land. We can start implementing the plan. And thanks to the guy for the work, Hang Se-shu will send him the money in the afternoon. So, according to preliminary information, the film studio's base has been chosen in the city of Tianmeng. Send people there quickly, we need to buy up this land. Have the agents offer more than them, and it will be done. Super. Lighting a cigar, Mr. Hong generally didn't want to offend Lone Wolf. But he won't mind if the man also earns a little, right? Damn, as long as the people from Wushu don't screw up. But our hero suspected nothing and was checking the watermelons in the garden. Damn, his old folks got old too quickly. And how is he supposed to take care of these little ones now? I hope they don't rot. Okay, who's calling now? Xianing? And she screwed up again. Someone leaked information about the film studio's base, and the land in Tianmeng has increased in price several times over. Aha, so more money needs to be spent? Good news. But, maybe Yuan misheard? Oh, yes, probably. He meant that he would easily deal with it. He'll just transfer to Miss Gao's company account. What? The transaction cannot be completed because the company's beneficiary is the master? Did the system get something mixed up? Xianing is its official owner, right? The transaction cannot be completed as the master is suspected of money laundering? Damn it. It seems the only way out of this situation is standing right behind Yuan. If he transfers the money to Man and she creates her own company, he can conduct all sorts of deals through her. Thus, the main character will complete the transaction and get a huge cashback. And he'll provide for his sister until her old age. But who was brother talking to just now? His girlfriend? Nope, it was Zhao Shening who called him. They're not in a relationship, Yuan isn't ready to accept her feelings yet. Brother is just messing around. Does Man know who she is? A film company was recently founded under Miss Gao's leadership, and Yuan is sure he can handle such a big fish? Of course. And his sister's words gave the young man an idea that Man needs to get a job, and... What? In their city? How? She won't be hired anywhere without education and experience. Well, here's the thing, there's a lot of free land in their village. If his sister acquires it, and the film company decides to build here, they could make a good amount of money on tourism. When there's a large flow of people in one place, you can make money. Whether it's agritourism or farming. How's the idea on a scale of 1 to 10? Well, right now all her money is Yuan's money. But Man can't rely on him her whole life. And so she rates it a 10 out of 10. Brother is absolutely right. The girl will talk to the uncle from the village council, or township, I don't know the right word, gather people and discuss the issue. If the main character had a woman like that, it would be nice. They would live peacefully far from the city bustle in a comfortable environment. Wait, Yuan is getting carried away again. Suddenly, several cars parked next to his house, from which Lin Jialua emerged. Finally, they meet again, Lone Wolf. The main character is seeing her for the first time. And maybe the girl can remind him how they know each other? They haven't met before, right, but Lone Wolf really doesn't remember her. Back then at the car dealership, Jialua was with her brother, Mr. Lin. Right. There was some girl hanging around that guy, and right now she was in shock. According to rumors, Lone Wolf is a real ladies' man, but he definitely doesn't care about Jialua. Well, no problem, she'll make Yuan remember her. They shouldn't continue their conversation in the middle of the street, maybe the young man will invite Miss Lin into his house? And overall, it sounds logical, It's really not worth making a scene in the village. Okay, she's convinced him. Let them park the car over there, she can bring her guards, but if they dare to crush even one watermelon, the consequences will be brutal. Well, it's more comfortable here, we can talk. Yes, Mr. Lone Wolf plans to make a good profit, doesn't he? And no need to pretend, he managed to fool others, but not Jialuo. First, this sly fox so loudly announced large investments in a film company founded by a bunch of amateurs. Jiao Xianing is just a B-list actress, she knows nothing about business. And now people from all over the country have started flocking here to speculate on this. Many are even mortgaging their assets. That's Chen Yuan's plan. Very soon he will acquire those assets, the sneaky son of a bitch. Wow, what an interesting plan the main character has, he's even proud of himself. So why did Miss Lin come to him, and how can Lone Wolf remain calm when he's just been exposed? This man really knows his worth. Even Jieluo's powerful brother immediately abandoned his plans after Chen Yuan's plan was revealed. Damn, you can't quarrel with a person like that. Miss Lin is here on behalf of her family to discuss the possibility of cooperation. Hey, what are these blockheads doing, not letting Man into her own house? Let her in, you shameless fiends. My god, where did this savage come from? Go away. Outsiders are forbidden. What are the guards doing? This is Chen Yuan's sister. Let her go quickly. Well, the usually cool-headed Mr. Lone Wolf lost his temper over his little sister. I wonder how important she is to Mr. Chen. And honestly, very. Should the main character teach the guards a lesson? Beat it into their stupid heads who's the boss in this house and who's the small fry. And everyone present almost had their jaws drop. Is this a joke? The men couldn't withstand a single blow. And all of the Lin family's guards are former special forces. Oh, the more money a person has, the less developed their body is. That's a well-known truth. Jieluo's brother gets out of breath after walking up the stairs to the second floor. And Chen Yuan is a real man? This is exactly the kind Mistress Lin was waiting for. And at that moment, the system linked a new target. Upon reaching 95 points of disposition, a counterattack will be made, and Jieluo will become a fan of Chen. For which he will receive 30 enhancement points, drawing and singing skills. As well as and she calls this discussing cooperation? It looks more like Miss Lin came to Yuan's house to humiliate his family. That's it, conversation over. See you later. But wait a second, this girl looks younger than Man and is already so serious. How great. And also, she's ready to admit her guilt. But these guards were hired by Jieluo's brother, so they're not very obedient. Is Lone Wolf satisfied now? No, they won't continue the conversation. But why is brother so angry? Man finds his guest interesting. What's her name? Well, Lin Jieluo. Howdy doody. And how old is she? 18, well, what do you know, Man is the same age. And when is her birthday? June 29th. No way. They were born on the same day. Oh, women always act like they've known each other forever when they first meet. And out of desperation, the main character started sorting beans. While Man and Jieluo gossiped behind his back. And it turns out, brother is so cool. If Miss Lin hadn't told his sister, she would never have guessed his greatness. Well, Yuan himself is an incredibly mysterious person. Man still has a lot to learn. Just a couple of kind words about her brother, and look how embarrassed he is. Mr. Lone Wolf has such a warm relationship with his sister. Besides, with a huge fortune, this young man is willing to live in such a backwater. It seems his body and mind function differently from ordinary people. He's more like a celestial being. And does this beautiful man really exist? Jieluo has a feeling he has a lot of secrets. Later in the evening, Miss Lin asked the main character to let her stay the night. But that's out of the question. The negotiations are over. So long. However, Jielua just wants to understand what it's like to live in the village. It was so hard to get out of the city, and besides him and Man, there's no one else at Lone Wolf's house. Why not? Exactly. Little sister wants Miss Lin to stay with them for a couple of days. She will prepare a room for this girl. And seeing the sincere hope in Man's eyes, Yuan blushed and agreed. Just as long as the girls don't make noise. In any case, life in the village is no fun, so Jielua will run away from here in a couple of days herself. But that's unlikely. Jielua will continue to watch Lone Wolf to find out his main secret. And already in bed, our hero couldn't sleep because of the talking behind the wall, so he plunged into thought. Cooperating with the Lin family is not such a bad idea, all the dirty work will be on them. And Yuan will continue to remain in the shadows. Damn, sounds like a dream. However, why did the Lin family just send this girl to him like that? Don't they trust Lone Wolf too much? Isn't Mr. Lin worried at all that he might do something bad to his sister? Screw it. Yuan will definitely find a way to profit from the situation. That's it, time to sleep. Routine. And the next morning. What time is it? And what's all this noise at the crack of dawn? Oh, Qin Yuan is awake. Good morning, sleepyhead. And that's when the main character realized that the wall in his room was gone. What is Lin Jielua doing? Lone Wolf let her stay the night, and she destroyed his house. Has she lost her mind? Well, first of all, it's not like that. This is called an improvement. Jielua is planning to stay here for a couple of days, so she needs to spruce things up. And secondly, what's Yuan yelling about? His bathroom used to be too modest, so Miss Lin spent a little on imported toilets and voila, it looks gorgeous. In addition, she also improved the pigsty. The pigs were so dirty, how has Lone Wolf not been arrested for inhumane treatment of animals? In short, Jielua bought a jacuzzi for each pig. Now they will always be clean. And Yuan had only one question. Are all rich people this crazy? What the fuck is this? But he hadn't seen the main thing yet. This is where Miss Lin will be living for the next few days. Oh, brother's here. Lolo is simply incredible. This chair is so comfortable, right? Well, as long as Man likes it. There's no other way. All the materials used are of high quality and do not contain substances potentially harmful to the human body, and there's more to come. For example, Jielua plans to install heated floors, and, as expected from the heiress of such a family, she is extremely meticulous about food, clothing, and living conditions. When Yuan's parents return, they probably won't recognize their home. But the main character was planning to return to his homeland to rest, not to work as a nanny. Total unluck. At the same time, one of the guards called Mr. Lin. Everything is going according to plan. The young miss is already in the house, and Lone Wolf is not against cooperation. Well, that's excellent. Have the man report to me as needed. But is everything all right with Mr. Lin? Yes, of course. That Qin Yuan doesn't miss a single skirt. Naturally, he's interested in Jielua. And that same pink-haired secretary of Li Jiamu, Weling Shuang, was amazed at Mr. Lin's determination. To just use his own sister as bait like that. Lone Wolf is probably rejoicing now, awaiting the execution of his plan. But he doesn't know what awaits him yet. When the Li and Lin families unite and stab Yuan in the back, that bastard will have something to think about. What a pathetic end. But someone has to punish Lone Wolf. And since everything is going according to plan, it's time for Weling Shuang to play her part. Oh, the secretary is already leaving. Why the hurry? Didn't you like the wine? Oh no, it was wonderful, but it will be even better when this is all over. And if Lone Wolf is the same as Mr. Lin, he won't escape the trap of Lin Shuang's seduction. A little later, in the main character's home village, a crowd of locals gathered near his house. Hey, have you heard? Wang Man is living with Qin Yuan. What's going on in his head? Whoa, isn't that the chick who arrived with a bunch of guards in a Bentley a couple of days ago? And she's living in this guy's house too? Chen Yuan doesn't seem to be wasting any time. What a ladies' man. Shoo, he's a really sharp kid, but in other aspects, Brother Biao is much better than him. So why does Yuan get all the best things? Hey, man, want to join me tonight? We'll have some fun in the city. What's the occasion? Well, it's going to be something like a class reunion. Tianmeng has become so lively lately. We'll have a couple of drinks, relax, chat. Why not? Yuan is free in the evening. Besides, a class reunion is always a show-off event where everyone compares their wealth and achievements. The main thing is that Jin Biao doesn't let him down, because our hero is tired of standing out. And right now, first and foremost, he has to deal with this little problem in a skirt, who is wondering why the guy brought her here. They are very far from civilization. Yuan isn't going to do anything indecent, is he? Oh, you bet he is. Jielua came here of her own free will, and even if she screams, no one will hear her. It's time for the exploitation of female labor. She is to put this basket on her shoulders and collect 20 ears of corn. Seriously? Collecting corn? Yeah, so that's what it looks like. That's how it grows. And now Lolo will feel what hard work is. She'll get tired and immediately run back to the city. However, to the main character's surprise, she collected not only the corn but also an abnormally large potato and even watered the plants without any problem. Wow, it turns out life in the village is so interesting, so much fun. Miss Lin wants to stay here. It's decided. To hell with studying. She's not going back to the city. And for crying out loud, why is she reacting like this? The plan failed. Suddenly, the pair heard the screams of a girl who was running from some thugs. And then she tripped and fell face first into the mud. Well, why isn't the girl running? Why did she stop? The guys have already caught her, but she can still try to run. No need to cry. The pink-haired girl just needs to be a good girl and go with the guys to the car. Hey, let her go, you damn bastards. Harassing a weak girl in broad daylight. Jielua's gonna give them a piece of her mind. Well now, she's got some nerve. She's without her guards today. Even so, she rushed into battle so actively? And by the way, they just came out and witnessed such a scene. What an interesting coincidence. And these guys look like they could totally do this kind of work for hire. Alright, you've shown everyone how tough you are. So you'd better leave the girl alone. What did you say? Why don't you go? But the thugs couldn't finish, as the main character knocked them out in 2 moves. Which made a deep impression on Miss Lin. Chen Yuan, you're amazing. You took them all down so quickly? Lolo couldn't even follow his movements. And although Jielua's disposition rose by a whole 40 points, Lone Wolf was more interested in the rescued girl. Are you okay? Yes, thank you so much. My name is Yuling Shuang, and I will definitely repay you for your kindness. Holy crap. Any man would have lost his mind at the sight of her. In a good way, of course. And, as is classic, at that moment the system activated and linked a new target to the master. However, Ling Shuang's disposition level was -80, and there were so many bonus skills that it was mind-boggling. Who is this woman? A spy? Where did this great multitude of skills come from? Well, the pink-haired one's disposition level is extremely low. Did you want to offend her somehow? Even the others weren't so hostile, but whatever. She can pretend all she wants, but it's hard to deceive with such a disposition level. There's definitely something wrong with this woman. And how did she get into this mess? Why were the bastards chasing Miss Yu? Well, she owed them a large sum of money. Ling Shuang grew up in a single-parent family. Her father rotted in prison all his life, and her mother was diagnosed with an incurable disease, which shattered her already poor health. So Miss Yu took a loan for treatment from lenders, but a little later her mother passed away, and the girl was never able to pay back the money. These bastards offered her to pay off the debt in kind and sell herself, but Ling Shuang ran away. That's the whole story. And it's so sad. How much does she owe? Lolo can help her. She's the second child of the Lin family. But she shouldn't. Ling Shuang will earn it herself, she just needs time. Oh, Miss Yu is so strong, like a flower breaking through asphalt. But the main character was not impressed by this story. Damn, using such a cliched plot? Only a stupid schoolgirl would fall for that, well, or Lin Jielua. But for now, Yuan will turn a blind eye to it. Maybe Ling Shuang will entertain him somehow. However, it would be nice to find out who is behind her. Well, whatever, let Lolo take the guest to the house and treat her wounds. Oh, right. Miss Yu's clothes are all dirty, she needs to take a shower and change. But this also applies to Jielua, she looks like a piglet that's been rolling in the mud, not the second daughter of the Lin family. I see. So the girl was probably building those jacuzzis in the pigsty for herself. And as for Miss Yu, Yuan has a proposal for her. The guy has a company, and he could give the pink-haired one a job. It would be nice. The naive fool. It all turned out to be much simpler than Ling Shuang thought. Lone Wolf is really obsessed with women. But the girl said nothing aloud. And if she's not interested, then fine. Just pretend this conversation never happened. Wow, he offered and immediately took back his words? What's wrong with Yuan? Meanwhile, Jielua couldn't believe that a beauty like Ling Shuang couldn't find a job. But honestly, Miss Yu thinks that Miss Lin is much more beautiful than her. Wow, the pink-haired one has a silver tongue, unlike some individuals who call Lolo a little dirty pig. But more importantly, Miss Lin also has a beautiful soul. However, behind Ling Shuang's smile was a panicked thought. What is wrong with Lone Wolf? It's obvious he likes Miss Yu, but he's not showing it. Maybe it's because they're not alone? Suddenly, Jielua offered the pink-haired one a job as an assistant in her company. She would have an excellent salary, and damn this girl. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Miss Yu's target was Lone Wolf. See you soon.